it's Jessie here. Welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you are new. In today's video, we are going to be writing up the budget for the second paycheck in the month of February. This is the paycheck that my husband will receive on Tuesday, February 9th. We are starting out here in this calendar page of my Budget by Paycheck workbook. I have the workbook printables, so I print out the pages that I need and I use an arc punch and punch them and put them into my Happy Planner Franken planner, and that is what I have done. So we are looking at the paycheck my husband received on the 9th, as I said, and we're going to start out by highlighting the bills that we are going to pay with this paycheck. So it is my goal to eventually get myself in a scenario where I am a month ahead on my bills. So this is something new that I'm trying with this highlighter method. It worked out great for the first week in February, so we're gonna do it again this week. For the second paycheck my husband received in February, I'm going to use this purple mild liner. This is in the color Violet. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to highlight the payday, which is the 9th, with that color, and then I'm gonna go in and highlight all of the bills we are going to pay with this payday. Because as you can see, the bills that fall within this pay period have all already been paid using that first paycheck. So I don't technically have to pay anything during this week, but we're still trying to get ahead. So I'm going to choose a couple of these bills later on in the month to tackle. And I'm going to skip over some of these because these are things that I cannot necessarily pay early, and is just going to be less complicated and less confusing for myself if I go in and pay the ones that I can pay early. I do have a second checking account that I have opened that I have been transferring money to cover bills that are coming up in the month that I cannot pay yet. And that's how I've been tackling paying some of these ahead, or accounting for those bills ahead. It's a little bit confusing, I know, but that's what I've done. But there are a couple of bills coming up in this month that I can go ahead and pay today if I want to. They're not due until the 26th here. We're talking about DTE and Michigan Gas. Let me just go ahead and highlight those. They're not due until the 26th, but the statement has already been put up. I know exactly how much I need to pay, so I can pay this early. So those are the bills I'm going to tackle with this February 9th paycheck. And we will worry about Amazon and Lowe's and some of these other bills next week. So hopefully that made sense. I think that it did. Now we're going to go ahead and flip to the paycheck bill tracker, and we're going to start writing up the budget. So as I mentioned, this is the paycheck my husband will receive on February 9th. So I'm going to write that in. And let's just zoom in a little bit and get started. So the first thing that we are going to talk about are bills. Typically, under this bills category, I will put anything that I'm going to have the money in my checking account and pay. So I pull a lot of my budgeting categories in cash. I pay for a lot of things in cash. But for bills, these are things that I'm going to pay through my checking account or with my debit card. And usually I include groceries here because I typically will do a Walmart pickup order. And so we pay for the groceries online. It just makes sense to have the money stay in the bank rather than pull it out and then have to deposit back. But I actually already have done our grocery shopping for this week, and the money that I used is not coming out of a paycheck. When I filed my taxes over the weekend, I discovered that I did not have to pay anything out of pocket for my taxes like I thought. So I have been pulling money out of my paycheck from YouTube every month. I've been pulling a percentage of that and holding it back for paying my taxes at the end of the year. So I had $700 or so set aside in case I needed it to pay those taxes, but I didn't actually need to pay anything. The amount that I owed was covered with some tax credits and what my husband paid in. So that $700 was free and clear for me to use. So I went ahead and used some of it for groceries. The rest of it, I made an extra debt payment, but that is not included in this budget. So you're not gonna see groceries listed here. That does not mean that I didn't buy groceries. I did. You guys will see I actually spent a ton of money in groceries. You'll see that grocery haul later on this week, but it didn't have to come out of this paycheck, so it's not getting included in this paycheck bill tracker. Hopefully that makes sense. So we're gonna skip groceries because groceries have already been covered for the week, and we're gonna move right on to those bills we talked about, you know, the ones we highlighted. So we're gonna do DTE, which is our electric company, and we pay $212 a month for our electric bill. That is a set amount that we pay based on their budget billing program. They take our usage for a year and divide it by 12 so that we pay the exact same amount every single month. So, you know, we're not paying an astronomically high bill in the summer and then a super low bill in the winter because of our air conditioning being run. So we pay that $212 every single month all throughout the year. So that's what I'm going to budget. The other bill we are going to pay is Michigan Gas. Similarly, we are on the budget program for that, and we pay $40 every single month for Michigan Gas. So that is what I will budget for that. And that is actually it for bills this week. So I'm going to add that up. 212 plus 40 is $252. I could set aside more money for other bills, but we're going to focus on some of our other goals this week and just have this small amount in bills go out this week. So that's it for bills. Now we're going to move on to cash envelopes. So cash envelopes are the money that I pull out of the bank and keep in my wallet and expect that I will spend it throughout the week. So this is money that's going to cover our weekly expenses. It differs from sinking funds. Sinking funds is money that I pull out in cash and save over longer periods of time. This is money that I pull out and expect to spend this week. So the first envelope category is my husband's spending. And for him, we are going to budget $40. So I'll take $40 in cash. I'll give it to him. He can spend that on absolutely anything that he wants. Next is my spending money. And similarly, we are going to do the same. $40 for myself. Next up, we have eating out. So it is my goal not to eat out at all in the month of February. That was something that a goal that I set for myself at the start of the week, or at the start of the month rather. And it is my hope that all of the money that we budget for eating out in February does not get spent, but we're still going to budget for it just in case we don't meet that goal. So I am going to pull out the $25 for eating out money and put it into my wallet just in case we, you know, slip and we eat out even though it's our intention not to. Hopefully at the end of the week when I sit down to do my budget results video, that $25 will still be in there and I can use it to go towards an extra debt payment, but just in case, we're gonna go ahead and fill that envelope because you never know what might happen. And I wanna be prepared. Next up, I have gasoline, and for gas this week, we are going to budget $40. I had taken our gas budget down to $30 because I was finding that over and over again, we were left with lots of money left over for our gas envelope, but then gas prices went back up. So we're back to budgeting $40 a week. That's the great thing about budgeting by paycheck. We get a paycheck every single week. We can change things up every week if we want. So we're back to a $40 gas budget. Lastly, for our cash envelopes, we have miscellaneous. And for miscellaneous, I'm budgeting $25. That $25 is just extra money to have in my wallet in case we need it for something. Something that is outside of the categories that I budget for, or in case we happen to need a little bit more in any other category, that $25 acts as sort of a buffer to make sure that we don't go over budget. And it has saved me time and time again. So we are going to go ahead and add this up. So we have 40 plus 40 plus 25 plus 40 plus 25. So our cash envelopes this week are $170. That's what we will pull out of the bank to cover our weekly expenses. And we will, of course, go to the bank and stuff our cash envelopes in an upcoming video. Now we are going to talk about sinking funds. So like I said, sinking funds are different than cash envelopes. Yes, it's cash we're taking out for specific things, but this money is essentially getting saved over long periods of time to add up slowly so that we can cover larger expenses. They're essentially savings accounts, but they're for things like bills that happen less often than monthly, things like car maintenance and Christmas, things that we know are coming that we want to have money for, that have, you know, whether they have a set date or not. It's just essentially money that we're going to spend in the long term. Cash envelopes are spent during the week, sinking funds will be spent later on, but it's still money we want to pull out of our budget so that those larger expenses aren't things that have to happen all at once. I always use Christmas as the example for sinking funds just because it's the easiest to explain and makes the most sense. Christmas happens every year. You know that you're going to spend money. Why wait until December to try to scramble to find that money when you can just set aside small amounts of money throughout the year, let it add up? You don't miss the $20 or $30 you're pulling out of your budget during the week, but it adds up quickly, and then at the end of the year, when Christmas rolls around, you have it. You don't have to swipe a debit card or a credit card. So we have quite a few sinking funds, but we're not saving for all of them every single week. We're just kind of pick and choosing based on what our goals are, how much money we earned that week, etc., etc. I say this every week. I know a lot of you watch my videos every week and you probably get tired of hearing me say the same thing week after week, but there's always new people subscribing to my channel and finding my videos for the first time, so I like to explain it just so that there's no confusion. So, the sinking funds that I'm focusing on this week. Amazon Prime. We are almost to our goal for Amazon Prime, and that does need to be renewed in March, so I want to have the money available when it comes due. We're going to set aside $20, so that's what I'm going to budget for. Next, I have car maintenance. Car maintenance is a ongoing sinking fund, so I don't have a set amount that I'm saving for, and I don't have a set time limit on it either. It's just something I'm going to continuously be adding money to. That way, should we have a situation where our car breaks down and we need to buy parts or pay labor, we have the money set aside, and that's not something we have to put on credit. So this is like an ever-changing sinking fund, something we will add money to probably forever. So for car maintenance, we're going to just add $20 this week. Next up, we have clothing. If you watched my video where I did my sinking fund counting and I talked about the funds that I needed to be focusing on in February, I will link that video in a card above in case you missed it. You would know that clothing was one of the sinking funds that I didn't have any money in, and it was something I wanted to start focusing on and adding money to for February, so I stuck it in here, and we are going to add just $20 to that fund. I know $20 doesn't sound like a lot, but you guys, it adds up when you're adding to the fund consistently. So that's clothing. Next up is campground. We have a camper, and we have it at a campground that we pay for annually. It sits there all year round. It's about $1,400 a year. So we just set aside money throughout the year so that when that comes due, we have it. We're going to put $50 into our campground fund. Next up is Christmas. Christmas 2021 is still quite a while away, but if you are saving for it now, you'll definitely have the money you need by the time it rolls around. So that's our philosophy. We save for Christmas all year round. Not every week, but we try to add money to it on a pretty consistent basis. And Christmas is going to get $50 this week. And that is going to do it for our sinking funds. So we have plenty of other funds outside of these ones, but these are the ones we're focusing on this week. So we're going to add it up. 20 plus 20 plus 20 plus 50 plus 50. Oh, I forgot one. It's actually my son's allowance that I need to stick in here. I pay him an allowance once a week. He keeps his money in the accordion folder where we keep our sinking funds, and that's why it's under sinking funds. It could be under cash envelopes or whatever. It doesn't really matter. I take $20 out. I give it to him. Because the envelope is in the sinking funds folder, I keep it under sinking funds. But he may spend this money this week. That's just why I kind of keep it under here. So I'm going to add that extra 20 for a total of $180 in sinking funds this week. Excuse me. Okay, now we're getting into the extra debt. So we are on a journey to pay off all of our credit cards, hopefully by the end of this year. That is the goal. We use the debt snowball method to pay for our credit cards. So we pay the minimum payments on all of our cards, and then we put any extra money that we can into our debt snowball, where we're focusing on just one card at a time. So our debt snowball right now is going towards a Discover card that we're trying to pay off. And we pay $173 every single week towards that card in an effort to get it paid off. Sometimes it's more than $173, but it's our goal to send at least $173. That is the accumulation of all of the minimum payments from cards that we have previously paid off. So we started out with just sending an extra $50 a week towards our debt snowball. And as we have slowly over the course of the last year or two paid off cards, we've added those minimum payments to that $50, and now we're up to $173 every single week. It's very exciting. We like to make progress on our debt on a weekly basis, and that's why we pay it every week. We could wait and pay it just once a month, but we like to see our debt number go down every week. So $173 is what we are going to pay towards our debt snowball. Hopefully at the end of the week we will have some extra money from some of these other categories to be able to funnel to our extra debt as well. For example, if my bills were to come in lower than what I budget for, we would send the difference to the debt snowball. If we don't spend all of our money from our cash envelopes, a lot of times we'll take that money and make an extra debt payment with it. But we can't count on that, so we don't put in anything in this extra debt category. We don't budget for it, but I like to put it in just in case we have something to add, and that'll go in the actual category. All right, last category we have here is extra savings. So when I filmed my February budget setup video, that's another video I will link above for you in case you missed it, I figured out how much I was going to be setting aside every week in February for one of our savings challenges that we are doing, which is Savopoly. So Savopoly is a fun savings challenge printable that I found on mothermeandI.com, and I'm going to show it to you all right here. Here it is. And what you do is you roll the dice, you go around the board, the property you land on correlates with how much money you're going to save that week. So what I did is I went ahead and rolled 4 times on camera to figure out exactly how much I was going to save every week in February, just to be able to skip a step during these weekly budget videos, because they get a little long. So for the paycheck my husband receives on February 9th, we actually had rolled doubles. So we landed on $3, and then we rolled again because we had doubles, and we landed on $15. So the amount that I'm going to save for Savopoly this week is $18. So I'm gonna go ahead and write that in. And then we're gonna go back to our charts. I actually need to update my no eating out chart because we have done really well. We haven't eaten out at all this month, so we are already up to the 8th. All of these little pizzas get to get colored in. I'm just behind on updating my chart. So we took care of Savopoly. The other major savings challenge we are doing throughout the year is a 52-week savings challenge. And so the premise of this is you pick a square every week and you save that amount of money. It's pretty easy, pretty simple. But if you do that every week and you choose a different square every week, by the end of the year, you will have saved $1,000. This printable came from hasslefreesavings.com. So if you are interested in getting it, you can download it and print it from there. It's free. It's a great little printable. And this week we are going to save $5. I just kind of chose randomly. We saved quite a bit last week for our 52-week savings challenge, so we're just going to go with $5 today. So I colored that in. That's what we will save. So I'm going to go ahead and mark it in here. 52 weeks is going to get $5. The only other savings that I have wanted to start is for a Nintendo Switch. This is something that I really want. I've been wanting a Nintendo Switch pretty much since they came out, but I've stopped myself from getting it because they're expensive, and I know that Nintendo at some point, probably soon, is going to come out with a new system, but I really want a Nintendo Switch, so I'm going to start saving for one. This is something that I could put under my sinking funds, but I'm just going to stick it here with this extra savings just because. All of this money, the extra savings money and the sinking funds money, all goes into my accordion file. So realistically, it doesn't matter what category I put it under. I just like to keep it separate because this is, I don't know, just because, I guess. So for the Nintendo Switch, I'm going to set aside $20. Still got a long way to go before I've saved up enough to buy it, but we have an extra $20 this week, so I'm going to set it towards that. And so my extra savings total, we'll add it up. 18 plus 5 plus 20 is $43. Okay, friends, so that is it for my budget. Everything is accounted for. We've took care of the bills, cash envelopes, the sinking funds, the extra debt. This is the plan. So throughout the week, I will, take care of all of these things, make my payments, and then I will come back at the end of the week and we will take a look at my actual spending and see how closely I was able to stick to this budget. Before I go, I'm going to really quickly fill out the other page from the Paycheck workbook that I like to use. This is the cash envelope breakdown. So I'm going to fill this out and figure out exactly how much cash I need to take out of the bank so that I can then go to the bank and get set up for my next video, which you will see is my cash envelope stuffing. So I'm going to zoom out a little bit. What I'm going to do is look at my Paycheck bill tracker, write out all of the categories that I need to pull cash for. So that's everything under cash envelopes, sinking funds, and extra savings. So I will transcribe the categories and their amounts here, and then we will come back and do the cash breakdown together. I'll be right back. Okay, so I have gone ahead and written in my categories and their amounts, and I added everything up, and I know that I need to take $393 out of the bank. But if I go to the bank and I say, give me $393, they're going to give me three $100 bills. And that's not going to break down nicely into my envelopes. That's why we do the cash envelope breakdown. We figure out the exact denominations that we need to fill our envelopes, and that way we can ask for those specifically from the bank so we have everything we need. So let's go in and break this down. My husband gets $40 in 20s, so two 20s there. For myself, I also get $40. That's another two 20s. For eating out, we're going to do 25, so we're going to do a 20 and a 5. For gas, we're going to do 40, two 20s there. Miscellaneous, 25. A 20 and a 5. Amazon Prime is going to get a 20. Car maintenance is going to get a 20. Clothing is going to get a 20. For campground, we're going to do 50, so we'll do a $50 bill. Christmas is going to get a $50 bill as well. Austin's going to get a 20. Savopoly is 18, so we will do a 10, a 5, and 3 ones. Is that right? 10, 15, 16, 17, 18. Yep. For the 52-week savings challenge, we'll do a 5, and for the switch, we'll do a 20. So now I just go down the line and count it up. So we're going to need 3 ones for a total of $3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5s is $20. 110 is $10. 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 20s is $260, and 2 50s is $100. We're not going to need any $100 bills. So now we're going to use my calculator, add up these totals, and make sure that this total matches this total. That's how we'll know we did everything right. I often make mistakes when it comes to the cash envelope breakdown, so I always want to double check my math. This total is $393. That matches that total. That means everything's accurate. So now I'm going to pull in my bank teller sticky notes here that I got from thebudgetmom.com, and I'm going to transcribe these totals onto here. Makes it really easy. I can just hand the sticky note right to the teller, who can then pull out the proper denominations. No confusion this way. So 3 $1 bills for $3, 4 $5 bills, $20, 110, $10, 13 20s, 260, 2 50s, $100, for a total of $393 from the bank. So I have this all set and ready for when I go to the bank. I can pull out the cash that I need and stuff my cash envelopes. You guys will see that video on Friday, so make sure that you are subscribed so that you don't miss that. You're definitely going to want to come back. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, I would love it if you would take a minute and click the thumbs up button. That really helps me out. You can share it with your friends, leave me a comment. All of that really helps YouTube to know that you enjoyed this video. So thank you so much in advance for that. I appreciate you watching, and I will see you in my next video. Bye, friends.